Hi, it's Billy Tarasio from Modern Law Practice, and you're going to find that I'm in the same outfit I was in the last video because I'm doing several of them today. But I wanted to update you on an experiment I'm doing within my office that has been very controversial for my team. Some of you may know that I almost hired a lawyer to do all of our consultations. We at Modern Law have between 150 and 200 leads a month, and usually do, well, last month it was like 48 consultations. And with as busy as my lawyers are, we don't have a designated person to do those consultations, and I was unhappy with our conversion rate. And you know from listening to me that conversion rate is hugely important in the long-term success of your firm. And so I knew that everything has gone really, really well at Modern Law, but this was an area that needed to be filled, especially because I'm doing a lot of traveling and work with Modern Law practice clients, and I'm not there to do a lot of the conversions. And as long as I had one lawyer who did it and who was available to do it, they could have done a great job, but I didn't. So I was looking to hire someone, and I talked to a lawyer, but it wasn't a good fit. And so, but I knew that I needed somebody in this position, and so I recently hired someone who was not a lawyer. And this is something that I've been thinking about for a long time, talking to other lawyers all over the country who are doing this, and there are some, but it's not a concept that's widely known, and it's one that makes most lawyers very, very uncomfortable. And when I told my team I was thinking about it, they were a little bit skeptical. When I told them I had hired someone, they were even more skeptical. She started this week, and I got a whole lot of, well, we'll see if it works. And I got, is that ethical? And I got, is that solicitation? And so first, let's answer those questions. Well, there's so much to talk about here. I have been thinking about this for several years, but it's not something I brought up with my team several years ago or even on an ongoing basis because it wasn't something I was ready to pull the trigger on or try. And it's not like you as the owner run every single idea you have by your team. So they were a little uncomfortable simply because it was a foreign concept, and that is simply what happens. People are uncomfortable with a foreign concept. So let's go over, is it ethical? It isn't. Let's first say what is not ethical. Non-lawyers may not give legal advice. Non-lawyers may not practice law. The unauthorized practice of law is if someone who is not a licensed attorney in your jurisdiction gives legal advice. You can look at your specific state for more information about that, but that is the crux of the matter. That's one issue. Second issue is that people must know what they're getting, what they're buying. If you're charging for consultations with a non-lawyer, they must know that you're not a lawyer so that you're not breaking Rule 7.2, which is being truthful in your advertising. Beyond that, you must supervise all of your employees, all of your non-employees. So your bookkeeper, your other people. We can talk about that in a different video. What else? What other duties do you have? You have duty of confidentiality. You have to protect the confidential information that is received by your law firm, even if it's not with a lawyer. Other than that, that's it. Having a non-lawyer gather information, meet with people, develop contacts, do business development, go over fee agreements, talk about the process. None of that is unethical. You are not soliciting clients. These people have contacted you. They've come in for a meeting. So anyway, those were the things that my lawyers were talking about last week before I told them that I was bringing in this person they were starting. Then this week happened, and we are doing free consultations, and I'm not even calling them consultations because consultations to me kind of implies that you're working with a lawyer. So I'm calling them free case meetings. And I wanted to call this person a client, a case coordinator, I think, a client coordinator, something like that. She wanted to be a concierge, a client concierge. And this person's really interesting because she's coming from the medical field, and she's done a ton of work in mobile medicine and pharmaceutical sales, and she's had lots of relationships with PI attorneys and workers' comp attorneys, and has a lot of information, has met with people who have medical issues, been able to talk to them about their medical issues, and then decided whether or not X, Y, or Z doctor is a good fit. Not that different. Anyway, she wanted to describe herself as a client concierge, someone that they could always call that would never be billable, that always would be there. And my lawyers were very skeptical about, would people want to talk to a non-lawyer? Well, this week happened, and she probably talked to 20 people. She probably had 20 client meetings in a week, which if you put that on track for a month, that's 80 consultations, whereas before last month we were at 48, which is high. So we're going to talk to way more people simply by having somebody dedicated and available. But the other thing is, not one person was like, why can't I talk to a lawyer? Because you can book for a consultation with a lawyer at my firm, but not one person was like, I really want to talk to a lawyer, or why am I talking to you? Everyone was relieved. There was a sense of relief that you could talk to somebody who was not a lawyer, that you didn't have to worry about being charged, that they're not going to judge you, that they're less intimidating. And she started converting clients immediately. Now, there's room to grow. By no means is this perfect or all worked out, and now we have to develop a system for follow-up and that sort of thing. But when you get to a certain size, I would highly encourage you to start thinking about this. Should you have dedicated business development and salespeople? Do you want to grow? And if your goal is to grow and you don't have 100% of your time to dedicate to this, now if you're not me, if you're not running around the country consulting with other lawyers, and if you want to spend the time doing it, awesome. But if this is not your personality, or this is not something that you have time to do, I would highly encourage you to think about it and try it. And this is an experiment, and I will continue to talk to you about it and let you know exactly how it goes. The other thing is fee splitting. Before I forget, you cannot fee split with a non-attorney. So paying your salesperson a percentage of sales is an absolute no-no. And I was talking to somebody the other day who does this for her intake staff. You can't do it. Don't do it. You may not give them a percentage. You may pay people an incentive for actions they take, signing up new clients, opening a file, things like that, but you may not split fees. So that's the other ethics thing to keep in mind. All right, that's all for now. I'll talk to you soon. Have a great day.